Friday night, and you know what that means. Unfortunately, this week there is no Karloff, so sorry, Boris, but we're going to start off with a film that kind of sets the tone, given my most recent upload. Kind of in the mood for vampires, and I wanted to try not to go the predictable route. This is a 1935 film on this double feature disc entitled Mark of the Vampire, and it was directed by the man who, directed the original Dracula, Todd Browning, and it also features the star of Dracula, Bela Lugosi. It's a peculiar kind of film because it's actually a remake of another of Todd Browning's films from the silent era entitled London After Midnight, which is a lost film. It's gone. There's been some, admirable efforts in recent years to kind of restore something along the lines of what it must have been like with still photos, and it's quite a fascinating presentation. But no, this is a remake of that story. And I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil it, because there are definitely some prospective spoilers in the mix. But suffice it to say, it's about vampires. It's very spooky, very creepy, all in black and white. Has an amazing cast. Lionel Atwill, Lionel Barrymore plays the sort of equivalent of Van Helsing, and then of course Bela Lugosi as not Count Dracula for copyright reasons, but another vampire entirely. I think his name was Count Morla, and he's further distinctive for the fact of having a vampire daughter. And as far as I know, in the sound era, don't hold me to it, but it may be the first of the vampire women. Certainly vampire women who got it going on. So yeah, it's basically about vampires who are terrorizing a small village, and the means by which they go to try to alleviate the problem. It's a wonderful film. I'm very fond of it. And it's on this, speaking of Karloff, it's on this double feature disc with The Mask of Fu Manchu. So there was a little Karloff here tonight, at least in the graphic sense. But I think that is available separately. I have seen it for sale separately, but I have it as part of this box set, which is a very cool little item with lots of old black and white classics from sort of the same general time frame. So yeah, starting off with that. And then I thought we'd go pretty obscure. If any of you out there know this film, you deserve a prize. I'm not going to say you're going to get one, but you certainly deserve one. This, I believe, is from the early 1960s, and it's a British production entitled The Body Beneath. And it's a bit wonky, but it also has a sort of ghoulishly delightful atmosphere, and it sort of smacks somewhat of the exploitation films of the 1960s. I believe there's a banquet scene where all the vampires are gathered, and they're sitting around eating all sorts of really kind of grotesque looking things. But anyway, yes, it's a tale about a a holy man who's come to London from Ireland, and he's come to sort of hook up again with some of his distant family members. Although, as it turns out, this fellow also happens to be a vampire. That happens from time to time, doesn't it? You know, I mean, people crop up here and there in films, and perhaps in life as well. And lo and behold, you discover they're a vampire, and all the fun goes out of the relationship. Except for a certain small number of you, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a cool film. I only just kind of discovered it recently. I think I saw Elvira hosting it on one of her Comcast horror hosting assignments, and it's a nifty little film, and you know, tries its best to be edgy. You know, doesn't quite get there, but you know they're trying. So, in closing, well, you want something that sort of pushes the boundaries a little. You know, something that's known for, you know, being a little bit out there, expanding the horizons of the genre. You know, something that probably doesn't get enough attention and enough credit for doing so. So I thought we'd go ahead and, you know, we'd do the... How the hell did that get in there? Sorry, wrong film. Give me a break. I bought it sight unseen and I've never read the books. No, this is actually where I'm going. I'm going for Near Dark, which is a lesser known film to those who aren't ardently into the horror genre, probably. It came out pretty much at the same time as the original Lost Boys film came out, and was completely eclipsed by it, and you know, not too many people saw it in its theatrical release, but it's one of those films that later started getting a little more attention when it was running on cable, and then of course came the home video revolution, and you know, it was released on DVD in various editions, and this happens to be the closest to the ultra premium edition that I'm aware of, and it's a really cool little film. All of its airs are very sort of small and independent, you know, film-wise. Has an amazing cast. 3 members from James Cameron's Aliens, actually, headed by Lance Henriksen. I'm a big Lance Henriksen fan. Loved the Millennium series, loved Pumpkinhead, and, oh, who else is in this? Bill Paxton, who's certainly gone on to do really, you know, amazing, huge things. And, yeah, and it's a vampire film that is, you know, on the edges of society. These vampires have lived a very, very long time, and you get a sense of that they may be as old as, you know, the history of this country. You know, they've been around that long. And, you know, basically is the story of a young fellow who happens into a very attractive young lady who happens to turn out to be a vampire, and she happens to be a member of this vampire family, and happens to kind of be pulled into its ranks, willingly or unwillingly. It's hard to say. And from there, it's basically his efforts to kind of deal with the situation. But Lance Henriksen gives an admirably intense performance, and it's worth picking up just for that. So that's it. That's Vampire Night. I hope you you know, got something out of this, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. See you next week.